Hello class, we're working on another code sample called average three numbers. If you think this looks a lot like the assignment you had to do for averaging four numbers, you were right on. I have a before and after version 2. So we're going to look at this first one, the before. I actually have it loaded. I'd like you to take a look at this code. Actually, I can make it full screen. So I'd like you to go through and try to find out how many different functions you see. Okay, let's go up here. This is a function, input. Remember, they're purplish in color if they come built into Python. Input. We also have the ints, three inputs. We have also an input here. And do you see any other? Nope. But down here we have two prints. Those are functions as well. So here's how the code works. I have a divisor set to 3 and lowest set to 0. I prompt for 3 test scores, and I prompt, do you want to drop the lowest? So if the user wants to drop the lowest equals yes, we set the divisor to 2. If you remember in math, a divisor is the number you divide by. And here's how we check for the lowest. If test 1, is less than I test 2, and I test 1 is less than I test 3, I test 1 is the lowest. If I get to here through the process of elimination, we know 1 isn't the lowest, so we don't even need to look anymore. We just have to find out, is test 2 less than test 3? So if test 2 is less than 3, then we know 2 is the lowest. Else, if I get to here, we know 1's not the lowest and 2's not the lowest, just 3 is. And notice I average test 1 plus test 2 plus test 3, backing out the lowest and dividing by the divisor. If the user says no, they don't want to drop the lowest, we add all 3 and subtract 0 and divide by 3. If they said drop the lowest, we figure out the lowest, and what we do is we add 1, 2, and 3, and we subtract the lowest, which is determined here, and divide by 3. And here's the code to figure out the letter grade, and then we print it out to the screen. So let's try running this so you can see. I'm going to put in 100, 95, and 90. I do not wish to drop the lowest, and I get a 95 as an average or an A. Let's run the program a second time, and we put in 100. We'll change it up a little bit, and we say yes. Pretty straightforward, and notice for the drop in lowest grade we go up to a 97.5. So we haven't wrote any of our own functions yet. What I ask you to look at, is there any code that is redundant, code that happens more than once? I'm going to ask you to look here. Because I need 3 test scores, I have to prompt the user 3 times. So hold that thought and let's look at the next version.